safe or, yeah, it's just like that.
Thursday. We're in that death zone of the push period. Our sales wouldn't show that. We had a great sales day yesterday, which I'll talk about here in a second. But again, we talked about kind of that middle of the push period, how starting something is much easier, finishing something is much easier, and that middle of it, the consistency aspect, where the shininess and the newness have worn off and the finish is not yet approached, is the most difficult period. That's where you're at right now. So we got to do everything we can to take care of ourselves, to make sure that our energy is right, to make sure our focus is on point, and to make sure our follow through is great. So before, and by the way, today we got Hal in the house who's going to be speaking. What's up, everybody? He's ready to go. So we need some energy. So everybody do 10 of something. 10 push-ups, sit-ups, body squats, something to make sure you're ready to go.
Lay it on your back.
Take a little ride. Oh, yes. Get those body squats. Love it. Stretch it out. All right. Okay. Jot down 3 things that you are grateful for. Wild, with the car accident, getting hit by a drunk driver, to battling cancer. During all of these life events, he's built himself an amazing family. And he also has built himself an amazing career on writing and inspiring people. And so his book series, you guys all know Miracle Morning. There's like, how many variations of that? 15 different variations of Miracle Morning. So you guys know the Miracle Morning. There's Miracle Morning for real estate agents. There's Miracle Morning for salespeople. Miracle Morning for, I think there's like a geriatrics one coming out for senior citizens. There's a bunch of different ones, but it's awesome having a friend like Hal. He is direct in relationships, which is awesome. He is a ton of fun to hang out with. He's super giving and gracious, such as with his time here at family camp to pop on and inspire you guys this morning. And so I love having Hal as a close friend. And without further ado, here's the guy.
Let's go. Good morning, everybody. It is good to be with you. Dane, y'all are so lucky. I wish Dane's one of my favorite people in the world. I'm sure I'm speaking or preaching to the choir, but I learned so much from Dane as a friend now, and I was like, and as what he knows about Vector, to have him as my manager when I was in Cutco would have been a dream come true. So what I want to talk to you about today is a couple things. I want to talk about the purpose of this push period and every push period, and really the purpose of Cutco, right? The purpose of why are you with Vector? Why are you selling Cutco? And I'll start there. Most of y'all, most likely, and me too, right? I took Cutco on as a job. I was like, oh, cool. I can get paid, and there's like no ceiling. I can make as much money as I want, and I get great experience. Awesome. Let's go. What I did not understand when I started selling Cutco, until I was really almost done selling Cutco, and even now looking back, is the the purpose of the Vector opportunity, the purpose of selling Cutco for me, it wasn't to make money. It wasn't even just to get like great work experience. It was literally to become the person that I needed to be to create everything else that I want for my life. That's what the Vector opportunity was and is. And if I look at my life now and I'm living the life of my dreams in terms of my career and my income and my family and my health and you name it, it is because I took the Vector opportunity seriously. Like I committed to it at the highest level. And to be clear, y'all, when I started selling Cutco, I was a very mediocre, below average at everything I did kid. Like I didn't get good grades. I was totally lazy and undisciplined before Vector. And then I decided, hey, I see this amazing opportunity. I'm going to take advantage of this. And so the big picture of the Vector opportunity is this is the opportunity to become the best version of yourself, to become the person now, right now, when you're relatively young, that you need to be in terms of the positive attitude and the mindset and overcoming the challenges and the adversity and the self-doubt that you inevitably face in as a salesperson, like to overcome all of that and to continue giving your best effort and being more disciplined today and for the rest of the push than you were yesterday. What that does for you, it's not about hitting your push goal. It's not just about making some money. It's literally that between now and the end of push, Dane, how many days left?
Oh, yeah, 10 days.
So in the next 10 days, like it doesn't matter, you can't change anything about what's happened until this point, right? Good or bad, whatever. You can't go back in time and change anything. But I would literally encourage you to consider, okay, right now, we're starting fresh in terms of how you're viewing this push period for the next 10 days. These are the most important 10 days of your life. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to write down the next 10 days are the most important 10 days of your life. And that's as true as you decide for it to be. That's as true as you could say, no, they're not. Okay, then they're not. But for those of you that decide, you know what, I'm going to treat the next 10 days of my life as literally the most important 10 days of my entire life, because how I show up for these next 10 days is going to determine the person that I become over the course of the 10 days that will then set the tone and the direction for the rest of your life. And so that's the importance that I want you to take these next 10 days and treat them with. And again, this is your decision. This doesn't exist inherently. Like the next 10 days are whatever you decide that they are. They could not matter at all. You could throw them away. You could get you could just do it average. You could do it. You could approach the 10 days like I'll do it the way that I've always done it. Or you could literally go, hey, I'm going to be more disciplined, more focused, more committed. I'm going to handle adversity with even more grace and inner peace and just keep moving forward. That's the decision that you guys get to make right now in this moment. I'm going to share a quick story with y'all about the most difficult push period that I had in my entire Vector career. It was the most difficult. It was the most discouraging. And so for any of you right now that have had a difficult and or discouraging push period, this is for y'all. And for some of you that haven't, but you like maybe you might have some difficulty or discouragement in the next few days, this is for you. In fact, this is for everybody. Um, so it was the most difficult and the most discouraging. And because of how I approached it, like we just talked about, at the end of it, I looked back, I was like, oh, it was the best, most life-changing push period of my entire life. In fact, to this day, when I'm faced with challenges in my work, in my career, in my life, you name it, I literally get to look back at this push period that I'm about to share with you and go, oh yeah, I became the person that I needed to be during, and ironically, it was a 10-day push period. Which is part of the story because it was supposed to be 14 days and they cut it down to 10. And anyway, but it was literally 10 days that changed my entire life because of two decisions that I made going into those 10 days. And some of you have heard these decisions. You will have not heard it shared this way. But I wanted to sell $20,000 of Cutco in 10 days. Now, y'all have to do a little math for inflation. I actually asked ChatGPT. That was $42,000 in today's dollars. So the year was 2000, which ages me. It's crazy. But so $20,000 in the year 2000 was 42,000 like $360 today, right? So basically I was going for a 40K push. And I thought I had 14 days and I was really nervous. I was like, man, this is going to be more than I've ever sold before. This is going to be really challenging. And I've only got 14 days to do it. And we show up to the team meeting and my manager says, "Hey everybody, I got news for y'all. They moved the conference, and it was SC2. They moved SC2 back 4 days sooner because of some hotel stuff. So we only have 10 days for the push." I go, "You got to be kidding me. Like, how am I going to hit that goal in 10 days?" And so I thought about giving up. And for some of you right now, you might not be on track for your goal. And maybe you've thought about giving up. Maybe you feel like there's no way, like I've only got 10 days left and I'm nowhere near where I need to be to reach my original goal, right? So if that's you, think about that for a second. Like, yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling doubtful. I'm feeling discouraged. I'm feeling like, I'm on these calls and I heard some reports that Dane shared of some people that had $3,600 days yesterday and I had a $200 day, or I went 0 for 5. Like, and you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling like you're unsure and you're feeling self-doubt and you're feeling like, what's the point? Like, what's the point in even trying when there's no way that I can reach the original goal? And if you understand that the purpose of the next 10 days is to become the best version of yourself, it actually doesn't matter whether or not you reach your goal. It only matters whether or not you give it everything you have until the last possible moment to reach your goal. Because if you do that, no matter what the CPO is at the end, and you literally can look back and go, I gave it everything. I woke up early. I made my calls. Like Dane said, I didn't cut any corners. Like I did everything in my power. And man, I didn't reach the goal. I kind of fell short. But I can look back and go, I literally became the person with the discipline and the commitment and overcoming my self doubt and my discouragement. And I continued pushing forward. But here's the cool part: when you do that, more often than not, you will exceed all of your expectations in terms of how much Cutco you sell. And sometimes you surpass the goal, sometimes you fall a little short, sometimes you reach it. But if you give it everything you have, you set yourself up not only for a successful push period, but literally for a successful life. So back to the story. So I go out. Now keep in mind, I'm going for $20,000 in 10 days. So I've got to average $2,000 a day every single day minimum. I can't fall below that. In my first week, my first 7 days, right? $2,000 a day times 7 days, I needed to be at $14,000. And I gave it everything I had, y'all, because before the push started, I mentioned I made two decisions. And I'm going to encourage you to write these two decisions down, because these are the two decisions that will transform not just your push period, but your entire life. The first decision is unwavering faith. Unwavering faith. When you are working towards a goal and you're not on track, your faith wavers. You go out optimistic on day one, which you might have been there, where you're like, yeah, on day one, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit my goal. And then, oh, I had no sale and I had a no show. And day one didn't go as it was supposed to. And then day two, and then, right. And if you're not on track, your faith wavers. And when we allow our faith in our ability to achieve our goal, when we allow it to waver, then the second decision follows suit. We lose that decision, which is extraordinary effort. Extraordinary effort. So the first decision for you to make right now, if you haven't made it already, or even if you did, you remake it, that you maintain unwavering faith for the next 10 days, that you can achieve your goal, or at the very least, that you can give it everything you have to achieve your goal. That faith is what fuels the second decision. Unwavering faith fuels extraordinary effort. And so the two decisions that you're, number one, going to maintain unwavering faith, and number two, that you're going to put forth extraordinary effort, whether you feel like it or not. You're going to wake up, you're going to make your calls, you're going to do everything in your power to reach the goal. Here's the important part: until the last possible moment, regardless of your results along the way. When I went into that 10-day push period, I decided I'm going to maintain unwavering faith, meaning even if I have a no sale or a no show or I'm not on track, the only words I'm going to allow myself to speak are, I'm committed to giving it everything I have until the last possible moment. If you're taking notes, you might want to write that down. I'm committed. That's what unwavering faith looks like in practical terms. I'm committed to giving it everything I have until the last possible moment. I'm committed to giving it everything I have until the last possible moment. And if you want to add in, regardless of the results, because for me, I'm like, even if I'm not on track, I've got to maintain that unwavering faith until the end. And that extraordinary effort is the actual following through of that faith. It's the doing the things, giving it everything you have until the last possible moment, regardless of the results. So after week one, I sold $7,000. So keep in mind, y'all, I've got 3 days left of my 10 days, and I'm $13,000 away. I want you to put y'all in my shoes for a second, right? Where you're like, okay, I've literally maintained unwavering faith and put forth extraordinary effort for 7 days. I've given I couldn't have worked harder. I made every call I could have. I did every demo I could have. I did everything in my power to be on track to be at 14K. I'm at $7,000. So imagine you're at 7K right now and you're going for $20,000 for push and you have 13K to go and you have 3 days to do it. Put yourself in that headspace. Would you be confident? Like, I got this. I just gave it everything I had and I sold 7K in 7 days. So I'm sure I'll sell 13K in the last three. Like, there's no way logically to get your head around it. Like, it didn't make sense. And so for me, I realized that these two decisions, unwavering faith and extraordinary effort, this was a strategy to bring the best out of me. And I'll say that again, right? This wasn't a guaranteed thing where if I do this, if I maintain unwavering faith and I put forth extraordinary effort, I'm guaranteed to sell $20,000. No, there's no guarantees in life. It's if I maintain unwavering faith, decision number one, and that second decision, I put forth extraordinary effort every moment for these 10 days until the last possible moment, then I become the person that I need to be to achieve everything else I want in my life. It's not about whether or not I achieve the goal. And so after that first week, when I'm way off track, I go, okay, I've got 3 days left. And honestly, I didn't, in the back of my mind, I have to be honest with you, I didn't believe. Like if you would have said, hey, how much you want to bet you're going to sell 13 grand in 3 days? I'd be like, I'm not going to bet. I'm just like, I didn't believe I could actually do it, but I never said that. I didn't allow myself to say anything that wasn't consistent with unwavering faith. Because again, remember, these two decisions are a strategy to bring out the best in me, a strategy to bring out the best in me, to bring out the best in you. So I approached those last 3 days of the 10 with unwavering faith. In fact, here's how it started. I went and turned my orders into my manager. His name is Franklin Orderbody. And he said, Hal, are you at 14 grand? Are you on track for your goal? And we didn't have the daily check-ins that y'all have back then. Like literally, we just showed up at the office and he's like, hey, did you sell 14 grand? I said, not even close. I'm at 7K. I've got 13K to go in 3 days. And my manager actually tries to talk me into lowering my goal. He says, hey, Hal, man, why don't you lower and go for a 10K push? I mean, 7K in 7 days, that's not a bad week. I know you were going for much bigger, but he said, if you keep up that average, go for a 10K push. I said, no, Frank, I don't think you understand. I didn't commit to selling $10,000 in 10 days. I committed to selling $20,000 in 10 days. But more importantly, I committed to give it everything I have with unwavering faith, putting forth extraordinary effort until the last possible moment, regardless of my results. I said, so yeah, my results aren't where they need to be, but it doesn't change who I'm going to be. It doesn't change that I'm going to show up with unwavering faith for 3 more days, and I'm going to put forth extraordinary effort for 3 more days to try to sell 20K. And that first day I went out and had a 3K day, so now I was at 10. The next day, 3K day. Now I'm at 13. The next day, a little over 3K. Now I'm at $17,000. So the push pretty much ends, and I'm at $17,000. And I call Frank and I ask for a favor. I said, Frank, I'm at 17K. Technically, I could squeeze in 2 demos tomorrow morning if you let me skip the carpool to the conference. If you'll give me a pass, and by the way, don't use this excuse. Your manager's gonna be mad at me if you get out of like a carpool or something to go to the conference. I said, but I can get in 2 more demos. It's still possible. So I scheduled 2 demos for the next morning, and I'm driving there. And the odds of me selling, basically would have been 2 ultimate sets. They were a lot less expensive back then. I would have to sell 2 ultimate sets on those demos to get over my 3K for the day. So the odds of it happening weren't very good, but I was still driving there. Literally, I remember on the freeway, windows down. I have unwavering faith. Some way, somehow, I'm going to sell $3,000 and get over 20,000 per push, no matter what. There is no other option. And I said it over and over and over and over. And I was so fired up. I'm like, these are the best two demos I will have ever done. I'm going to show up with my most energetic, loving, authentic self and do the best demo I can do. And I'm pumped up and I go to the first demo and I knock on the door. I was like, let's go, let's go. And nobody shows up to the door. So I knock again. Nobody shows up. I grab my cell phone. I call. Nobody answers. And it's a no-show. And my heart just sinks into my stomach. I'm like, no, this can't be happening. Like, this is my last chance. So I go to my last demo. I waited around for an hour, go to my last demo. And the lady answers the door. I'm like, okay, at least she's home, but how am I going to sell this lady $3,000? Like, we don't have anything that's $3,000, right? I got to sell her literally everything in the book at that point. And she says, she shows up to the door with a heavy accent, like a European accent that she did not have on the phone. So I'm like, okay, this isn't the lady I said the demo with. I go, hey, is Shelly here? And she says, oh no, she's gone for the day. I go, no, 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 no. I have an appointment with her. Are you sure? Oh yeah, she's 3 hours away. I said, no, 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 no. Can you call her? And she called her. She goes, oh, she said she's sorry, she forgot. I go, oh, you got to be kidding me. And she said, is there anything I can do to help you? And I said, who are you? She said, I'm her sister-in-law visiting America from somewhere in Europe for my brother's 50th birthday party. And I'm thinking in my head, there, like the lady on vacation from Europe isn't going to buy $3,000 of knives. There's no point. Like, so I said, thank you, but no, thank you. And then a little voice in my head, it's my own voice that I had affirmed for 10 days. I'm committed to giving it everything I have for the next 10 days to become the best version of myself, no matter what. There's no other option. And that voice came, it literally like whispered in my head until the last moment. And I thought to myself, wait, the last moment hasn't arrived. This nice lady from Europe on vacation who the odds of buying any knives is not very good, but she just said, is there anything I can do to help you? And out of integrity, and I'm going to encourage you to consider that, this next 10 days to become the best version of yourself, it's to maintain the integrity to these two decisions, whether you feel like it or not. And I went, the last moment hasn't arrived. This nice lady's offering me an opportunity, even though the odds aren't there. I've got to try. I've got to try. So I said, actually, ma'am, you know what? On second thought, you can help me. Is there any way? I'm showing these nice kitchen knives. Can I do my presentation for you? She says, sure, come in. So I go, I give my best demo. She tells me two things. Number one, she says, it's so interesting that you're here showing me Cutco. My husband and I were looking at high quality kitchen cutlery back in Europe, and we almost bought a set of Hinkle, but we decided to wait until after our trip. And she goes, it feels like there's a reason that you're here. And I was like, I got chills. I was like, wait a minute, okay. And then we keep talking, and she goes, you know what? I'm in town because it's my brother's 50th birthday party, and we've been looking for the perfect gift for him, and we have not been able to find it, and his birthday's in a week and a half. And can y'all guess what his favorite hobby was? Like his passion in life? Cooking. Yeah, Brady got it. Cooking. And so she's telling me this, and I'm literally feeling like tingly, like what are the odds that this lady was just looking for high quality cutlery a week ago, that she's here for her brother's 50th birthday party, and he loves to cook, and they have not been able to find him a gift, and they're looking. And this woman, the most unlikely scenario that I almost said, no, thank you. I don't need your help. There's nothing you can do for me. You're a European lady on vacation. You're not going to buy knives. She buys two. Our ultimate set, by the way, was $1,599 back then. And she buys two ultimate sets from me and puts me at $20,017 for the push period. And I drove straight to the conference, and I took number one, and I won the whole push. And I want to recap this, and I want to really, really make this about you. Okay. I want you to understand how to apply all of this. All right. So obviously you have 10 days in front of you. I had 10 days in front of me. I went into those 10 days fired up and optimistic, like you may or may not feel right now. And then I got hit with a no sale and a no show and a bad day, and it just everything I felt like went wrong no matter how hard I tried, and I felt like quitting and I felt like giving up. But because I had gone into those 10 days with two very specific decisions, I will maintain unwavering faith, meaning I will repeat to myself, I'm committed to giving it everything I have until the last possible moment. No matter what, there is no other option. No matter what my results are, I'm giving it everything I have until the end. Why? Because the purpose of this push isn't about what I sell, it's about who I become. It's about becoming the best version of myself over a 10-day period, becoming the person that can achieve every other goal that I ever set for the rest of my life. And that second decision, I'll put forth extraordinary effort until the last possible moment. And when I met that opportunity at the end for that woman, that's why I did the demo. It's why I kept trying, because the last possible moment hadn't arrived. And the last thing that I want to say is this. You may or may not know, you probably have heard, or you may have heard that I call this the miracle equation. Because after that happened, I went, that was a miracle. Like the odds of that woman in that moment, in that way, with my last demo, when I was feeling so doubtful, like there was no way I could achieve the goal at that point, and then the odds of her being the person that could help me get there were nil. But I committed to those two decisions as a strategy to become the person I needed to be. And so y'all are faced with that opportunity right now. The next 10 days are going to be a roller coaster. You sell Cutco, it's always a roller coaster. You're going to have ups and downs and moments when you feel like giving up. But if you can put those two decisions in writing, like I saw most of you already have, and you can keep those top of mind as you're driving your demos, I will give it everything I have until the last possible moment, regardless of my results, no matter what, there is no other option. You can become the person in 10 days, like 10 short days, to become a better version of yourself, a more disciplined, more focused, more committed version of yourself than you've ever been for your entire life. And that will enable you to not just achieve more during this push period and show up feeling truly proud of yourself, not based on your CPO total. That might be where you want it to be. It might be a little short. It might be what it's based on, the person that you became and how you showed up for these next 10 days. So I love you so much. We are all Cutco Vector brothers and sisters for life. And I'm going to turn it back over to my best friend, one of my best friends in the whole world, Dane Espigard. I'll see you guys next time.
Anybody fired up? That's a dose of full energy. You don't need your coffee this morning when when Hal gets on the mic. I love it. That energy is fantastic. I am certain that anybody within 100-yard radius of this this office is fired up to go sell some Cutco right now. It's cool hearing old Cutco stories also, right? Is anybody shocked at like the prices? Right, of how Cutco goes up every year or 2 years. It's the same thing with everything, but it's interesting to hear those stories and hear the push stories from back then, and also just to think about how the business was different, right? And the business evolves and the business changes, but at the core the stuff is the same, right? So what he's talking about, he's like, we didn't have daily check-ins. Hal also, when he was selling, didn't have a cell phone in 2000. Right. So you think about how often you're communicating with your manager and your peers. The job required a certain level of maturity and independence because you were on your own.
There was no GPS, dude.
Yeah, and I remember that too. No GPS to know, and many of you are just logging on. Some of you are doing them in person. But there wasn't, the alliance meeting stuff was different. It wasn't, let me get a pump up call from my manager. Those types of things were different. But at the core, and for instance, this morning we were talking before Alliance about recommendations, and how there's an app now that the customer can just download and go right and send you 50 leads. And he's like, what? That's crazy. And so there's so many differences in terms of how the business evolved, but at the core of it, it's still the same. All the things that he's talking about with the miracle equation still rings true today. All the things about, the meaning of the push not being the CPO, but the meaning of the push being who you're becoming, that still reigns true today, right? Like those things at their core will never change from what vector is and what the opportunity is. So for all of you today, the goal again is, hey, how can I embody just a shred of what Hal's talking about? Can I at least get a yes to, do you have belief that if you embodied what Hal was just talking about, that the next 10 days would be really exciting for you? Regardless of where you are right now, it will be really exciting for you. Now, by the way, right after I said you have 10 days, I did the math. I was like, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You have 9 days. Right after I said 10, I was like, oh.
Just like my manager who takes away days.
But he was on a roll, so I didn't want to correct it. But again, the focus is, hey, can I just leave in the past what has happened so far for the push? And can I say I have 9 days to be the best version of me, to leave it all out there and to be super proud of who I become and what traits I exhibit in those 9 days, right? Mix that with, there's a film crew watching all the things that I'm doing for the next 9 days. I think you'll get some really positive results from that. So today's focus, I've got to book myself a full schedule for Friday, Saturday. I cannot let these days go by. I just got to get to, it's kind of like you're in this long distance swim and you just got to get to the beach, which is Sunday. And if you can get there, you can make the final climb, right? Or the final swim for the last 5 days. We are getting really close to that period where we sprint to the finish and it's all fun and the magic happens. You've got to be able to bridge that gap between now and Sunday. So make lots of calls this morning. It's weekend demos. You guys know we have the biggest average order on the weekend, right? We're getting close to that. So you're phoning to book those weekend demos. Leave it all out there. We're having some magical stories that are being written right now. Let's rip up 25 calls this morning and 25 calls this morning, then off to do some amazing appointments. Have at it. DJs, whoever's taking over, first to the aux.